The N opportunity squandered for Arsenal, but no more than that. At Christmas, if you'd offered Mikel Arteta and his side a 6-point lead going into the FA Cup break, they would have bitten your hand off. Sign up for the Arsenal newsletter. Thank you. Players from both teams clashed during the first half. Credit, Alamy. Bukayo Saka tried his best to make something happen down the right flank. Credit, Getty. And while some inside the Emirates were left frustrated by their failure to grasp the nettle and dominate Arne Slot's depleted men, only the most demanding Gooner could really find something to moan about. Titles are won point by point, match by match. Sometimes, you just need to be grateful for getting away with a below-par display. This was a game of few moments of genuine quality, and even fewer real chances, with the best of them Conor Bradley's first half effort that bounced back off the Arsenal crossbar. Read more in football. Admittedly, Arsenal's first blank since they lost at Anfield in September offered further evidence that Victor Gyökeres cannot hit a barn door with a banjo, his replacement soon after the hour badly overdue. The Swede had just 8 touches in 64 minutes, none in more than half an hour in a first half spell. At some stage soon, surely, his blatant limitations will force Arteta into a change up front, whether that is Gabriel Jesus or taking a gamble on Kai Havertz, the best scorer of the trio by far. Gyökeres' struggles were part of one of Arsenal's poorest displays of the entire season, with Alisson's goal rarely threatened. Most read in football. Best free bets and betting sign-up offers. With a proper line leader, you suspect, they would have taken more advantage of Bukayo Saka's mastery of Milos Kirk's. But truly, there is no reason for worry. Half a dozen points is a big advantage, even if the home fans had arrived anticipating they would end the evening 8 to the good. The pre-match mood was indicative of the transformation of the Emirates from a venue of hope to one of expectation. Even so, there remains a nervousness that even these Gunners have yet to banish. Too many near misses under Arteta mean that even this minor disappointment will cause a flicker of concern. Indeed, it might have been greater had Liverpool, again without Hugo Ekitike as well as Mo Salah and Alexander Isak, been able to take fuller advantage of the insecurities, which spread in waves from the stands for much of the second period in particular. But while Arsenal looked vulnerable at times, especially when Piero Hincapié was forced off through injury, Liverpool never really looked like landing a killer blow. Not boring, as Slot had admitted his side might have appeared recently, but without the wherewithal to actually force David Raya into a save. It was that sort of match, one that spluttered without ever catching fire, more about shadow boxing than actual blows being struck. The exception was that one moment of vision, from an unlikely source after 27 minutes. Raya was so nearly embarrassed by William Saliba's panicky back pass, after Bradley drove forward and looked to find the recalled Jeremy Frimpong. Arne Slot shows his emotions on the touchline. Credit, AFP. Piero Hincapié trips Jeremy Frimpong in the box. Credit, Reuters. The keeper, stretching his right foot desperately, could only hack back to Bradley, who took a touch and adroitly chipped the keeper, only for the ball to bounce back off the bar. Other than that, though, with Liverpool struggling to get up the pitch, Florian Wirtz more a peripheral shadow than the false nine, He was supposed to be in the extended absence of ETTK. Arsenal were ascendant without creating too much. Most of what they did came down the right, Saka and Jurriën Timber double-teaming Kirks, who was horribly exposed by a lack of cover by Cody Gakpo. While both Arsenal men got in behind, the final ball was not quite good enough. Alisson saved from Saka and Declan Rice, although it was the counter that ended with Leandro Trossard's shot deflected wide that brought the only other talking point. Arsenal player ratings versus Liverpool. Arsenal failed to take full advantage of Man City's slip-up as they could only draw 0-0 with Liverpool. Despite this, the result extended the Gunners' lead at the top of the table to 6 points. Here's how the players rated. David Raya 6. Caught up in some miscommunication with William Saliba, which almost gifted Liverpool the lead. Enjoyed a quiet night other than that as Liverpool failed to have a single shot on target. Jurriën Timber 6. Got in behind Liverpool's defence a few times during the first half and linked up nicely with Bukayo Saka. The final ball was lacking, though, and he could not make Liverpool pay. William Saliba 6. Almost gifted Liverpool the lead after a rare error mix-up with David Raya midway through the first half. The Frenchman's pass back to Raya was heavy and the Gunners were very nearly punished, but Conor Bradley hit the crossbar. Gabriel 7. Dealt well with Wirtz, who was having to fill in as a number 9 due to Liverpool's injury issues. Dominant in the air and made a couple of big blocks when needed. Piero Hincapié 6. Steady stuff from the Ecuadorian, who tried to get forward on the overlap when he could. Struck down by injury before the hour mark, though, and was forced to come off. Arsenal's defensive injury woes continue. Martin Odegaard 5. The Norwegian has been excellent recently, but he could not get going tonight. The odd nice touch and pass, however, he could not open up Liverpool's deep defence. Frustrating. Martin Zubimendi 7. Snapped into tackles early on as he tried to set the tone. One of the better players, especially in the opening 45 minutes, when he misplaced just 3 of his 36 passes. Declan Rice 6. Involved in a flare-up with Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk during what was otherwise a quiet first half. He was Arsenal's hero at the weekend during the win over Bournemouth, but failed to boss this game. Bukayo Saka 6. Back in the starting 11 after coming off the bench during last Saturday's win at Bournemouth. Arsenal's brightest spark going forward, but that was not hard. Troubled Milos Kirks with the odd mazy run. Victor Gyökeres 4. Managed just 8 touches during his 64 minutes on the pitch. That is the Swede's lowest amount in an Arsenal game when he has played at least 20 minutes. Just not in the game at all and looks so low on confidence. Leandro Trossard 5. Returned to the team after being a second-half substitute at Bournemouth and went close with one effort in the first half. Had his heart in his mouth when VAR checked if he had given away a penalty for a tackle on Florian Wirtz, but survived. Subs. Miles Lewis Skelly, Hincapié 57 feet, 5, on earlier than expected after Hincapie was forced to come off. Struggled to deal with the pace of Jeremy Frimpong and was caught out a few times. Gabriel Martinelli, Trossard 64 feet, 5. His performance was summed up by a moment where he skinned two Liverpool players, and then fluffed his lines. Caught up in handbags laid on when tempers flared after Bradley injured his knee. Gabriel Jesus, Gyökeres 64 feet, 6. Looked sharper than Gyökeres and brought a bit of a spark to Arsenal's attack. Drew a save from Alisson with a late header. Surely he gets the nod for the next Prem game? Noni Madueke, Saka 78 feet, N.A. Eberechi, Odegaard 78 feet, N.A. Click here to read more on Arsenal. Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk in particular, were spewing that Arsenal had played on with Frimpong down holding his ankle at the other end after a tussle with Piero Hincapie. It left Anthony Taylor struggling to keep tempers controlled as the players squared up, a situation not eased by Rice telling the Liverpool skipper that you do not have to stop play unless there is a head injury. Tension was clear, Arsenal looking accusingly at Wirtz early in the second half when the German's dance into the box ended with him on the deck after Trossard tracked back to bump him off the ball. The VAR check came back in Arsenal's favour. They might have got away with one. Liverpool had the lion's share of the ball as Arsenal's nerves twanged but without being able to actually test Raya, although the keeper was relieved when Dominic Szoboszlai's attempt to repeat his Anfield late free kick winner scraped past the frame of the goal. That, though, was as close as either team came. Gabriel Jesus' late header easily held by Alisson. Recommended stories. There was time for a second bust-up, sparked by Gabriel Martinelli, who threw the ball at the injured Bradley and then hauled him off the pitch, bringing a bad-tempered response from Ibrahima Konate. Yet it was little more than a bump in an otherwise smooth road that still looks to have only one destination, the checkered flag and champagne celebrations to mark the end of the 21-year wait for title success. Mikel Arteta gestures on the touchline credit, EPA.